Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Pernigo, and it's time for some more Cos Monarchy Dev. Hope you guys are all having a good time today. I am having a good time myself. We got Fastwoods in the chat. We got Veek in the chat. What's up, Veek? I hope you're doing well, buddy. I just want you to know that Alex and I casted a game on Aegis, and I don't know when he's going to publish it because I think he's got other co-casts that I've done with him that are going to come out sooner. I think maybe Saturday, actually. He said he would publish it on a Saturday slot, so it might be this Saturday. But it's a really good cast, so you're going to enjoy it. It's a really good game. Just wanted to give you a shout out there. We got a couple of bug fixes that I would like to do, including some stuff related to some code, PR things. I don't believe this got updated. Yeah, okay, so that's waiting. This one I do need to reply to a few things here, waiting on DF to respond. Oh no, DF did respond to this. I'm going to update that. And then this, I've got to update a few things in this file. So that should be fairly quick stuff. This is just a draft I have left open so that I remind myself to actually work on it at some point. Not that important right now. Aegis is your newest map? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's actually older than, say, like Phantasmagoria, which was a Fata Morgana thing. But before we actually get started on anything else, since I should actually do this real quick, we have a couple of maps that are going to need some sorting, okay? Some 1v1 Class 0 maps that are coming in. So I promised a glut of them to be added, and this is one example. This is a port of Battle Chamber, or a merger of Battle Chamber and Crossguard, which is a wild throwback. Yeah, Crossguard by me years and years ago. It's still got this like little wacky thing that we used to do where it's like a high ground stuff over here. That's so absurd, dude. I can't believe that's real. Obviously, it looks like it could use some decor, but that'll be changed over time, I'm sure. Pretty interesting idea. Let's start analyzing it. Yeah, Veek, thanks for saying so, and thanks for your work as well. Obviously, I have this idea that, like, you know, I've done this work and I'm waiting on some updates or whatever, and then there's always more stuff to do, and there's, like, I was thinking about this, I think it was just a meditation log that I recorded for myself, but yesterday at work I was thinking about how, like, I could spend an infinite amount of time on any aspect of Cos Monarchy. The models, the unit responses, the campaign content, the melee 1v1 stuff, the factions. You know, there's so much shit to work on that sometimes it's very overwhelming. And so I do appreciate when work gets done regardless. And obviously you have, you know, some things that I don't have, like website and replay Kraken and fraud launcher and desyncs, and like those are like separate things from the stuff that I have where I'm focused on other things too. But you know, we are making something pretty fucking fantastic, and we are actively trying to keep that going. So always appreciate the hominess. What's the difference between GitHub and GitLab, asks Kutyan. Welcome, Kutyan, and welcome, Executor, as well. Hope you guys are doing well. GitHub is owned by Microsoft, GitLab is not. That's the main difference. I think GitLab is also less feature complete, or a little bit quirky, as a result of it being not owned by Microsoft and not standardized to the same degree. Sometimes work is being done and nobody can see it. You're right about that. So it looks like these maps are maybe in a state of weird tiling, right? Like, we can probably just help BiddyB out here a little bit and fix some of his BiddyB tiles that he didn't quite get to. Just to make it so that the map isn't, like, slandered for having broken tiles in a bunch of places or whatever. Let me just double check that there's not something else here. I do like the grass ramp idea. I guess it is obviously a ramp when you look at it, so whatever. I'm just looking at it and I'm like, that doesn't look like a ramp, but all right. That's all right. I'm not the one who decides these things. The player base decides. Looking at this map, I think you got your main natural, very wide open third base, or you can take the 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It's a 2-spawner, so there's only 2 options for your spawn. But these would be the obvious thirds to take, and this is super open. You get no buildable space, no cover at all, no like water as like a hole or anything. It's a path block. You get this a little bit, but you can probably even move through there. Yeah, you can definitely move through there. So I mean, sometimes that's more powerful actually. But I wouldn't hate adding a couple more rocky ground doodads over here, so that's like a consistent thing between those two areas. Slightly improve the defensibility, but I do like the idea of it being a very open third base. Maybe you could also justify that a little bit more by having an extra geyser instead of a ridge, or extra minerals. But coming over here, we have, what, 8 minerals? And only 7 here. So that actually kind of stilts it the other way. I think if you just lop off this extra mineral field here on the sides, which also doesn't look very good visually in my opinion, I think you might have to correct the gas placement as well. Let's see if that's true. I guess technically no, it just looks fucked because the geyser graphic is not centered. And we never bothered to fix that because it requires fixing a bunch of overlays and construction graphics. But with all that said, I think the idea of a base that's more open and more attackable, but has less resources than the other base, that's going to be a tough sell. But it might be still acquirable in the sense that it's like more open than stuff like this out here. So it's more defensible because it's closer. So proximity might sway it the other way. I mean, if you think about it, you take this base, this natural, right, and then you try to take this base, you do open yourself to attack paths from, I guess the high ground here is kind of bad. But then, you know, the bridge and then this area. But if you take this base, you still have to worry about flanks from this area, which could bisect your natural in a way that they can't do if they have to kill this base first. They have to run by, which is a little bit harder if your army's like out here. So it's a little bit easier, the more I think about it, a little bit easier to centralize your defense out here than it is to try to go for this one. So never mind what I said about the defensibility of it. But you might think about changing up the resource allocation a little bit there. Audacious mineral placements for the mineral-only base, and like this base over here that's also connected that has some whack-ass, Shambler-ass. Shout out Shambler one time, if he's here. And if he's not here, then shout him out anyway. Yeah, 9 mineral fields over here, and then of course you got this 7 mineral patch expansion. Okay, just sort of sussing it out. Nice big open middle. There's definitely a crossguard feeling here. Yeah, this is a wacky one. I guess crossguard mostly inspired like the top right, bottom left, and then, you know, the 12-6 area with the gas and the high ground. Wacky shit. It had this high ground area you could drop a lake as on. It was such a bad map, man. It was crazy. So we just, all we did was like fix some broken tiles, so that I'm not going to count that as like changing anything up. But I do think that this is probably, like, if you think about it, it's not actually very experimental as a map. The only experimental stuff, I guess, is like the middle a little bit with the resource placements and then the 12-6. I think we can probably squeak this into Standard Bearers, or we can put it in Worth a Shot. Standard Bearers has a little bit less map, so I'm going to put it there. That's my justification. All right, see you later, Veek. What's up, Jesse? Dude, shout out Jesse for some epic stuff. He's working quite well. He's working quite hard on a bunch of stuff. I do have to blow my nose, however, I am still sick. But we're about to look at Battle Guard. No, Black X Wall? Gilded Wall, Exceedu, and Blackwater. Holy moly. Yeah, we're going to have to work on the names, I think, because I think we're all going to have to band together and offer Biddy B some improved names, because I don't think having the mashup names works very well. But something more soul spiritually, you know, like a soulful inspired by, you know, like you wouldn't call it Inconsummate 2, but if you called it Bloodfaust, whoa, what's that about, you know, like... I guess that was a little bit self-referential. Alright. Not as sick as this map! Oh shit! What's up, Jamaica? I saw your weird cross promo for, for Cross Monarchy. That was wacky. I've definitely been, so Jesse was just asking me, he might still be on stream, so if you have access to the CM Dev branch, you can, or CF Dev repo, you can go to Feat iScript-extension, and you can get access to the latest work. We just haven't merged it to Master, but nobody really uses that repo, so it's not that big of a deal, I guess. It's just like a random knowledge check. Obviously, it would be nice if it was merged to Master. It's not as, I guess it's really not as important as GPTP in that sense, which is funny to say. Oh, I made some improvements to the Oriel recently. I'll have to, I did note that in patch notes, so that'll be coming up on pre-release soon. Historic type name like Attica? Right, yeah. There's definitely a lot of inspiration that history can provide you. Well, this is a really interesting one. So, the Gilded Wall stuff appears to be like this area here in the middle. And then you got the Blackwater Bastion up here in the top left, natural. What is the third from? That's kind of interesting. I actually don't know where that third is from. That might just be mineral onlys. Maybe the mineral only is also from Exidu, but it has this stuff down here, so I don't remember. This is a map that took a lot of effort to make, I'll tell you that much. Holy shit. Do have some busted tiles here that we'll go ahead and erase for the sake of the world. This guy over here. All right, fixed up some tiles. That's a cliff tile, actually. We can't keep that, even though it looks kind of neat. Yeah, I don't know if Bitty B realized how many tile errors he packaged with these maps. Not picking on him, just saying. He's a busy guy and he makes a lot of maps. Probably gotta dial in some of the QA on it. I know that's what Jujic was helping him with for a little bit too, so I'm sure that also his Jujic's own like unavailability, I guess you could say, or availability troubles may have. Okay. Apparently that's what we're going to do today. Yeah, the whole map is like manually pasted too, of course. Wild. Again, a lot of effort went into this map. That one is inarguable. Don't even try to argue with it. I think that one against the mud is probably fine. People aren't going to notice it too much. What happened over here, though? We patched that up. Didn't even remember that repo existed. Hell yeah, brother. What's up, Shamble? You're doing well, dude. Okay, so main natural third, now that we fixed up some tiles. It looks like we have random rocky ground over here that's not symmetrical, so I'm just going to remove that for imba claims, because obviously if like something's unbuildable on one side or not the other, that's a bit of a problem. That's part of what I was talking about with the QA side. Oh yeah, it looks like these doodads are also unbuildable. They're mostly symmetric, but not these ones over here. Well, I guess they're that's the attempt, but just go ahead and add a few more. Roughly correct. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. We can always fill it in with rocky ground later. So main natural third, and then you got main natural third over here on the left and right. You come up here for mineral-only expansions that are really close to the enemy. Not sure about that one. But actually, if it's mostly a ground game, even though this map structure kind of biases it towards air, if this is mostly a ground game, then that could be a pretty good use. And you can also establish air defenses all the way up this strip. One thing that might make this area even more useful is if you expanded the dirt up here. That's pretty cool. Something to think about. Make it so that there's even more buildability, but you can already do some of that over here, right? I don't know what exactly was going on over here. But fix that. Pretty nifty. It's playing around with a lot of ideas. I think Gilded Wall was a pretty non-standard map based on its layout, even if you take out the mineral walk. This is probably going in worth a shot, which is our in-between. It's not, like, outrageously non-standard, but which is not a qualitative measure on it either. Anyway. But I like it. I like the idea of it. Let's go ahead and put that into worth a shot. We'll see how it plays. Of course, that's the main thing. What's up, XPJ? Welcome. Protoss turn Zerg Escozy so OP. Yeah, nerf everything. Map called Thunderdome. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. I like that. I'm not working on a melee map. I'm reviewing melee maps sent to me by Biddy. They're mashups. So this is Catastrophe, which is a mashup of Near Impact and Axiom, I believe. Oh, Radium. Okay, that makes sense. This is really interesting looking. Okay, so we got some avant-garde tiling over here, with only the smidgest of resources as like a little micro expansion. That's kind of interesting. I think we'll quickly cover up some sins here, as long as Biddy B doesn't mind the idea of that. I think that'll be too bad. You can technically like hide some units around there, but I personally think that's fine. I mean, they'd have to be really small. So where are the mains? Okay, Near Impact mains, top left, bottom right. And then you got Radium mains in the bottom left, top right. That's really interesting. Isn't this such a cool idea? I mean, it's a little confusing to look at first, but that's also thematic. This whole area over here that is lifted from Near Impact is very interesting. And then it leads up into high ground up here. But you can also fork around over here. Yeah, that's, I mean, it's a fucking trip to look at, but again, I think this would be, you might have to tidy up the visual aspect of it just because it's very involved. I also see that he's attempted to... Pardon? Looks like he's attempted to make it so that the... setup over here works for like pairing off with a lot of the things that would make some sense, actually, like asteroids hit the station or whatever. That seems to be the idea. I'm just gonna go ahead and add a couple more sprites there. Oh man, yeah, over here especially. And then on this side too. That looks pretty good, comparatively. Okay. And then I think that's probably the only little visual buff we need to make this one. So let's try to actually look at it. How did I get space tiles on this map? This is a space platform map, yeah. So it's actually that the space platform has had some ice tile set ice tile set, Ashworld tile set, and especially Badlands tile set tiles added to it. So that's where this comes from. You manually place tiles? Yeah. Yeah, there's a ton of that stuff. I think he knows about the manually place tile thing. Glad my brother lets us know that he read messages in the D&D, in the tabletop stuff, by saying, I'm you. He just lets us know. It's a red indicator. That's all. So, main natural third, if we actually look at what's going on here, a little micro base out here that is, as I'm grokking the layout a little bit, we have the natural choke, right? And then you get this little micro expansion. That's kind of neat. It has a gas, so that's really big. Just for my own sanity, I am going to move this gas one tile away from the mineral. I find that way more appealing visually. And couldn't we shift this whole thing up a little bit so that we could do this? I think that would be a little bit nicer. Also, why do we... Yeah, I think that's probably a little bit better. Sorry, Biddy B, I totally changed that whole thing, but I hope you like it. If not, you can revert it. Okay. So, yeah, overall, I think, like, main natural third from near impact. Little micro extra base down here, which is pretty cute. Definitely a Zerg thing in theory, but very droppable. I like that idea. And then, where's your fourth? I guess it would be 6-9? Or 3-9. And then I guess like 1-7 would be the Radium Natural would be another option, but it's kind of hard to get up there, right? Yeah, that's really interesting. He's taken mains from another map, main natural third from another map, and used them as extra bases that you might get to, which means it almost turns this into a cross-spawn enforced four-spawn map from a way that you would play it. So that's really interesting. I think we're going to put this in worth a shot as well. It's not wicked experimental, but there's some things about it that are definitely not typical, but I think they're really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. All right, finite speed. So this is an infinite velocity. Oh, wait, I shouldn't look. What is this? Is this just an infinite velocity shortener? I think so. It might just be that. I don't see any other map that it's a mashup of. Mavericks are awesome, dude. Super Mario, thanks, bros. You got it, dude. Yeah, it's just infinite velocity. That's it. Call it the speed bump. Going to speed bump for map 3. So let's actually look at this. So we got your typical resource layout. Shopkeeper Dog will be happy about that. Back base with 1 gas, 6 minerals. Okay. Natural, a little bit more straightforward. And no straight through way. But you can do Nidus into other Nidus. So that's a little bit of an extra step. And it leads out to the 12. So you could, so here's a thought. You could send some, you could like garrison your main, right? And you could actually expand out here pretty early on if you sneak a worker there. That's like a gambit strat, right? A gamble strat. That's pretty nifty. Yeah, this is pretty cool. So this is probably going in Beholder's Eye. Because if you look at the rush distance, it's actually pretty enormous still. Even though it's, well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's a little bit closer. But I think this will be a Beholder's Eye map just because of the fact that there's a lot of bases on this map. And the Nidus thing adds a pretty interesting dynamic. And you got the back base. I could probably take it or leave it. You know, there's probably like room for it to be in either one. But I don't know. We haven't actually done a lot of Beholder's Eye stuff, right? So where are we? What's going on here? I think my guy was drunk. So Poda Vector, Podadia, and Crisis Vector. As I can see here, there's been some water issues. I'm not entirely sure how to fix that one, dude. Is this actually a water tile? No. Yeah, this is stuff that he would, you know, he would QC it a little bit if given the opportunity, but he just hasn't done that yet, I think. I'm kind of tempted to just redo it myself, but it would result in a lot of demise. Yeah. This one needs a little bit more work. I might just go ahead and send this one back and say like, hey man, Poda Vector needs a lot of tile corrections that are not easy for me to do on the spot. I did a bunch for the other ones, but you got a lot of stuff over here. Particularly the water cliff is like kind of a mess. But let's look at the map so we know where we would sort it. Main natural from Crisis Vector, third from Crisis Vector, the low ground third. And then it looks like the Podadia, you know, Podadia north third or 12-6 third, and then top right, as well as this base over here is like an interesting combine. This base is definitely from Podadia. This base is from Podadia, so that's interesting. This would probably be a standard bearer once it was done, but it's a neat little change to the map. Discord didn't notify you, but I pinged Content Monarch. What's going on, Skirmish Badger? How you doing? What's up, Jack? So this is Atacama Morgana. I know what this map is, obviously. This is Atacama. as a 4-spawn map, right? But with Fata Morgana layout. Interesting. So it looks like main natural from Atacama, as well as these, like, mid-ground stuff. But the bridges... Oh, this is really interesting. This is not a 4-way symmetrical map. The top part is... So this is... Forget what I said. Bottom spawns are Atacama. Top spawns are Fata Morgana. That is really neat. And, you know, I think the mid-left, mid-right are from Atacama as well. And the middle pit is, like, I think from the 6 o'clock area. Or maybe that was always in Atacama. It's hard for me to remember. All right, well, we can go ahead and put that in Beholder's Eye. That's really interesting. That the big difference there between other maps, too, is... if you didn't notice, based on that, is it is taking one game, like one map, and having it being a 4-spawn map is what makes it so interesting and different. I'll put it to you that way. So this is Genesis Drunk Y, because this is Genesis and Y and Punch Drunk. So you've got Gen Y on the right and Punch Drunk on the left, very similar to the other one. I didn't really check for tile breaks in the other one, but this one's really obviously got a lot of tile breaks. And I don't have a lot of time to correct all of them here. So I'm going to go ahead and also say that these two I will have be sent back. Yes, FittyB made all of them. Neo Sepulchre was already in there because I removed the bridge, the natural wall, as you requested, as you gave me approval for. But I did replace it with your updated version that apparently does the same thing and then some extras. And I put it into, it was already in Worth a Shot. It was right here. So it has your change plus whatever, like the wall change plus whatever else you did. But I have not pushed it yet because I was waiting to do the sorting here. So we're going to go ahead and say that these two are going to send back. Let me just message him. Process the mashup maps. Auto, vector, and are in need of tile fixes before I release them. I did tile fixes and site resource the mini base. Undo those. Okay. Starshorn and Neo are different. If you're responding to somebody else, then okay. But if you're responding to me, it's literally a file in the Worth a Shot folder. Starshorn, I believe, is already in Class 2. It's under Standard Bearers? Yeah, so... Already pranked you. The Oriel just attacks faster right now, so that it can apply its passive easier. I actually haven't fully finished working on that thing. I will probably... I'll probably look at the statistics of it and not the weapon, the unit stats, so that would be like cost or like Executor is saying HP. Oh. Can't blow my nose without muting my microphone, guys. That's bad form on a streamer. Also, I forgot to mention, but I do have my fan on. Starshorn is already in Class 2, which means it's tournament ready. Class 3 means not ready for tournaments. So if you want to edit Starshorn, feel free to, but it's already been approved, just so you know. Thank you, Jack. Can't hear the fan? Okay, cool. So what did we add here? Battle Guard. Was there anything else? Because there were 7 maps. We held back 2, so we got to add 5 maps. So Battle Guard is there. Worth a Shot now has Black X Wall, Catastrophe, and I think one other got added, right? No, maybe not. Beholder's Eye has Finite Speed and... Oh, and Atacama Morgana. Okay, that makes sense. And then I'm pretty sure I did update the file in the repo already. Yeah, it's 1.1. Okay, so we're good to go there. So let's go ahead and push those updates to the maps. Create Neo Sepulcher. Add more C0 maps from BDB. Okay. So we're waiting on 2 more, Potta Vector, and the other one was... it was the Genesis Drunk Y, yeah, that one. Okay, that's cool. Now we do want to do some bug fixing real quick, so just to keep you guys up to speed on what all is going on here, I'm gonna build master here to make sure that everything that got merged in the most recent set of merge requests, which I think was just the Arquebus from the Cataphract replacement for Yucatan. I'm going to go ahead and build that up and make sure that that's working. Drunk Genesis would be a better map name. Yeah, I think the map names definitely could be improved and should be before we officiate them into, Class 1 or Class 2. I also think it's really cool to have so many cool maps. I really want to see more games on Aeolus. I don't know how many have been made. How many have been... I don't remember how he even spelled it. I think that's the Brood War spelling. Yeah. A-E. Do we have any really good ones? Yeah. So back on the 30th, yeah. So we haven't had any recent ones besides a really short game, TVA. So I would like to see more games played on this one for sure. If we look at it, I mean, Axiom's been pretty battle tested. I don't know how many times it's been played lately. Looks like every other day or so, and then a lot of games got spammed on it on the 8th. A few of them did. I'd say this one is, I mean, we already know it's going to be Class 2 minimum. Does it need to be in Class 1? Probably not right now, but I can go ahead and move that into Tested Grounds. Battleguard just got added. Genesis Y has been played only a little bit, but I did get to see some of those games. Oh, this is a neat one. We have an 18-minute TVZ between him and... I actually saw some of that game, so I'm not going to cast that one. But this is a cool-looking one, maybe a ZVA, Hamster versus Crank, that went for a good amount of time, so I might go ahead and add that to my log, just so I have it. A Cannoli Kutian game could be good to review, since it was on the longer side. These are all... Oh, these are from 2026, so never mind. I mean, no, wait, sorry. They're from June 3rd, is what I meant to say there. Yeah, of course they're from 2026. But that one from Crank was actually in August, so that's a current one. So Crank Hamster is current. Okay. So maybe I'll leave it in there for a little bit longer. Martyr's Ground I don't think has been played recently. Oh, it has. There's a 7.5-minute game there. They played another game on it that was a little bit longer. Might be good to look at. And then... Okay. We should fix the map name not having an apostrophe in it. I think I did that once before. Shambler just likes to remove it. Obviously a joke. So the... Hamster versus Crankenda, ZVA. A couple of games there. Okay. So we're just taking a quick look over here to see if there's anything. I don't know if Oneros got played very much recently. Looks like no, only once between George and Crank, so probably not that useful. Pagan Imperium has been played once. It was a short game. Humbling River. Played. Yeah, it hasn't been played recently, right? The Night Fox, and then these goofballs who have goofy ass names. Sylphid. The Desire of Sylphid. Should mention Desire specifically so that we filter out Neo Sylphid or whatever. It's got like 5 games on it. We'll let it go for a little bit more. Capacitor is, I mean, it's pretty bog standard, isn't it? But hey, it's gotten a number of games, though. I guess we can probably, just based on that game count, we can move it into Tested Grounds. I'll decide based on what I've seen. I did cast 1 game on it, but I got to do a little bit more research on that, I think. And then Exodus. As, and those are 2025. Now looking for August games. Only one game in August so far. We'll leave that in there. Realignment. Only one game in August so far. Soul Blight. No games in August so far? Okay, so we're going to leave these maps in here. We'll go through the other ones later, but I just wanted to start sorting through that. Okay, master compiled just fine. Let's go back to our dev branch. Yeah, by the name of... No, Kutem's been playing lately, Jack. He signed up for Weekend Wage 15 and 16. La-ta-ta-ta. Yeah, there's a movie named Ratatouille. Don't you know about that, Jack? I thought you were a furry. Statements uttered by the unraged. He's been playing a little bit of practice, I think. I mean, if we search his Kutyum... Yeah. Played games on the 8th. Oh, no, these were... yeah, never mind. That was Weekend Wage. You write. When you write, you write. Alright, we're going to be taking a look at neutral garrison reset here. Need to make some fixes. He said in update unit state... Apparently what I did here was... I tried to do early returns. He said that made them immune to infestation. I don't really see how. I don't think this has anything to do with that. So... Stop here equals false. I guess I would probably need to see the original code. Commits. Is this where I did that? Yes, okay. So, Terran Building Burned Down is the only place where... Yeah, I think Veek just doesn't quite understand what this function is doing. The early return doesn't do anything about this. This is specifically only for burn down. So Terran buildings, when they are infested, do not burn down. So I'm pretty sure Veek is just wrong with this one. It's probably he was looking over a lot of stuff in a bit of a panic. If Auroras are immune to infestation, it has nothing to do with this code, which we could confirm by. I guess I should do. I'm pretty sure Last Orders does bypass infestation, but that's in weapon damage. Yeah, so that's separate. Augur, I'm not sure about, because it doesn't really exist in the same way. Oh. Yeah, okay. But I'm pretty sure if we didn't return early, this would have nothing to do with that. Those are because, like, if you look at the Augur... let's see here. Infestation. So there's unit-specific behaviors... As we look in here, we don't do anything with... This is related to manual handling of on-death behaviors. We already return here if the race isn't Terran. So this has nothing to do with that, yeah. I'm not sure why the Augur dies, but I know that the Aurora dies because it does this thing here, and then it still kills the unit or whatever, so... Well, it resets its HP, so it Fatal deals damage false, yeah, and then... Fatal deal damage is checked here before we do Embrace code, I believe. Yeah, so... Alright, let's think about how we can educate Veek on this one. So, Auroras are immune to infestation because of weapon damage. This code in update unit state. Decode in update unit state does not infest all units and instead catches burning Terran structures and infests them on burn down instead of killing them. We return before doing that if the unit is not Terran. So of course the Aurora will be unaffected. And then I will basically copy paste this and say augurs are not implemented and are immune to infestation for other reasons, probably somewhere in unit destructor special, but I am not sure as of right now. Go ahead and update unit state. As noted earlier. Apparently I have to type that from front to back if it wants to do that. Okay. I don't know about this one though. So he said, why are we suddenly removing units here? We should be in the else case. So let's look at update unit state again. Augur dies when it loses its shields. And it also does damage to itself when it stacks. It probably will return as a starbound unit at some point, but Augur does the opposite of the Ecclesiast right now. Well, it's like the Vagrant in a way, where it loses shields over time, I think. But yeah, it's a pretty powerful unit, and then when it dies, it releases a missile. It's a cool concept. We just never found a place for it in the updated tech trees. Originally, it was something you morphed your High Templar, your Cantavis, into, but we removed that mechanic, so. I think maybe it was a bit of a mistake to remove that mechanic, to be honest, but a little late for that now, and if we were to revise that, we would have to... I guess it's an old behavior, so people wouldn't be that weirded out by it, but... Okay, so let's see what he's actually saying. He's asking about unit Brewdwarf Funk remove. So if unit HP is less than or equal to 20... So this probably should be a unit constant, thinking about it, right? We should probably do, like, under Terran. Should probably do inline constex per 32 burn down damage equals 20. Not HP on purpose. As a good mistake. Not using HP natural on purpose. Okay. So we would have to say Terran burn down damage, because right now it's kind of a magic number, but that will make it a little bit easier to see. I think those are the only cases where it's used, but it still helps communicate what's going on. So if we're less than or equal to the burn down damage and the unit is infested, we infest it, and then we return because we don't want to do anything else. If it's a neutral bunker, a neutral garrison is probably what this should be called, so I'll just go ahead and rename that. That way there's some consistency there, easier for understanding what's happening. So, if neutral garrison death returns false, that means the unit is destroyed, I think. Oh no, I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure neutral garrison death returns false if the unit should not die. Yeah, and it returns true if the unit should die. So I guess we can invert this and say return true, and then do this, and then do that. Okay. Say kill the neutral garrison if it takes fatal damage while stunned. And then we go into unit state. Now let's see if this actually does address what Vik is talking about here. Because he's saying... He's making a very large thing, right? He's saying, I mean, we wouldn't want to infest, yeah. I don't really understand why we're having to access timer infesting twice with this new code. That feels a bit unnecessary. If it's less than or equal to the burn down damage, the next tick of burn down would kill the unit. So we would say the next tick of burn down damage would kill the unit, bypassing typical on death failures. And we'll say we'll say that. I hope that helps explain it. And then if he still has something wrong with it, because I can't really parse what he's trying to do, and I don't think he definitely didn't understand what was going on with it, which is not a big issue, right? But it's just factual. Oh, let's not do the white space changes, I guess. Okay. Add clarifying. This is a neutral garrison. Clarify code purposes. Use. Well, macro's probably not the right word, but whatever. All right, and then we're gonna go into here. And we're gonna go ahead and push. And then I think what we'll do, just to be sure that we're good to go, is we will rebase from the current master so that this is easier to sync up. And then we're gonna go ahead and resolve some of our merge conflicts here from doing that. This will make it a lot easier to actually handle. So we don't... I don't think we care about Necromastery proc. Oh, that's just because I incorrectly merged that. That's unrelated. Sure, we can use the current. It's more consistent that way anyway. And then we don't need Necromastery in here. Yeah, that's me not really understanding what was going on. So we will say current change and then put it there. And then down here it's adding a ton of other shit, and we really only need this. So let's go all the way up here. Okay, and you rebase. And then we have one more. Yeah, that's fine. And now we can go ahead and force push. We're good to go. All the factions get work on them? No. Destroy an infested neutral garrison. Will it be uninfested and neutral again? No, it just becomes your unit, and then it's not neutral anymore, and then it dies. That should be how it is. It might. Feel free to test that, and then. Oh, I didn't mean to edit that. I wanted to reply. You misunderstood the purpose of that code. I hope my comments and macro usage and notice to commit help clarify what is going on. Okay, so we can close that now. We're just going to wait for approval there. I don't think Veek did anything here yet. I'll refresh to make sure, but it's usually pretty good at updating. Yeah, okay. And then I think I'll skip this one for now. It's a little bit just... I should just focus on it when I'm not also streaming, I think, is how I'm going to put that. So the factions that did not get units. Futurist Federation and Golden Republic were not featured in any submissions. Hekaton is Executor, Nidus Trinity's Shambler, Upstart is Multiple, the Night Fox and Hamster, I think. And then for Protoss, well, I guess I can just use the same thing. Astral Omen did not get featured, but all the other three did. For Zerg, we don't have Orkoti or Zorthos. We have Imikrinia and Gezirath. And Ascosi don't have factions yet. There you go. So hopefully that clears it up. So that means that 2, 1, 2. So 5 factions didn't get any updates for this. Okay. So we can now go back to Power Preview and close this and reload. And we'll say that we did our programming today. We have a little under an hour, or about an hour, before I have to go do my thing. But I am going to BRB because I forgot to do some household chores. So give me like 5 minutes, and then I will get to that. And yeah, glad we got this part of it done. We're going to be on to faction development, exciting stuff coming. Or I'm going to update the Oriole. I'll open the page so everybody can look at it. I'll update the Oriole a little bit more, and we'll be working on some other concepts. Maybe I'll do another unit implementation if I have the time and I feel like I know which one I want to do. And then, yeah, so BRB. Hello, I have returned. Also, no wonder I got all of my work done before and during my stream. Because I didn't eat. I sat here wondering what the hell was going on. Why didn't I have to use the bathroom yet? Thank you, Executive. ZVZ with Arcodian Zorthos. Be the change you want to see in the world, Jack. Make your first map crap. Now, I know you prefer to actually play the game when you have access to your computer, and that's fair enough. That's how a lot of us feel. It was cool to see Hamster start working on models. I haven't seen any update about that yet, but also, of course, see Hamster start working on maps for map crap. Okay, so I'm definitely going to make the Oriole a little bit more spammable. I'll give it 2 armor instead of 1. Make it 175 and 2 seconds quicker to build. I could foresee giving it an HP buff, but like let's look at the Madcap, for example. Madcap's only got 80. That might be outdated. That's 90. That's still less than I thought it had. Okay, so I think that's fine. The Oriole attacks faster. Its weapon range isn't the best, but it's a lot more spammable now since it's cheaper. By 50 minerals and 25 gas in 2 seconds. 2 armor. Yeah. Hopefully it ends up being a much nicer unit to use. It's a big DPS increase too, so collectively, this is kind of like a statistical thing about it. It's not really a thematic thing per se, but I think its thematic was already pretty cool. So hopefully people just enjoy it. He didn't intentionally time travel. Hey, what's up, Zetsume? Hope you're doing well. I have a yogurt bowl. We got... Here, let me see if I can actually show it to you guys. We got some blueberries, some raspberries, whole milk yogurt, peanuts, peanut butter, MCT oil, and some granola. Some peanut butter granola. Because I like peanut butter, in case you couldn't tell. Normally I would do this before the stream, but I forgot to. I should definitely eat some citrus at shift work today. Hey, it's Gamtu! You guys are awesome. Keep it going. Hope you guys are enjoying Cosmonarchy. I need to see some more 1v1s and free-for-alls from you guys, that's for sure. I love Cosmonarchy too. We do always look for more people in the time zone that you guys are at, because what is this? Do you wait? Just change it to that then, I guess. Okay. But yeah, it's really good to see people playing in that particular area. So I was sent a graphic for the old Zora core, if that's what I'm going to call it. Lollerskate sent me a graphic that's a recolored version of it, which makes some sense, right? So this guy's supposed to do melee splash. He also did an Orcody Ultra recolor, which I think is hilarious, because they're the artillery guys. Eventually we'll have a custom model for it, obviously, but not quite yet, so. Okay, 83. Okay. That should be good. What? What? Got you with nukes? Those are pretty cool, though. That was for you, Jack. I'm glad you noticed. Okay, so I feel like with the faction stuff that I've got right now, this guy's probably pretty good as a candidate. Okay. Let's make his entry. So, let's see here. I feel like something I should do is switch over to this branch and start rebasing it. What is the difference between these two? Target unit. Oh. The address is apparently different. Okay. Well, yeah, of course we would want to include this. Is this inside another function, though? No, seems fine. Okay. I don't know why that would be wrong. So we removed get unit bullet damage from in the PR. Max HP. Well, what is this, though? We probably already have this in the code base, I would guess. I can't use Visual Studio to check, though, because it's in the middle of a refactor or whatever. Let's go ahead and delete that. That is correct. That is correct, Jack. That's part of what I am doing with my submission. This is part of weapon damage. Yeah. It's already taken care of, so we can delete that. That's fine. Probably want to go ahead and update this to the typical syntax, though. I don't think this is really used at all, so whatever. But it's taken care of. What's going on here? Oh, okay. This is where I put it. I put it in here. Okay. Interesting. Sure. Okay. What do we got here? Oh shit. Okay, we're gonna have to go back and look at what merged. I just realized that one of the things that I merged has U16 weapon ID here. And that's what it's supposed to have. But it also has... Yeah, we just have to, like, take current but change the parameter. It's not here. Maybe we'll stumble upon it. Do we use bullet.ext for anything in this function? Oh, yeah, of course. Okay. So we just have to do this, I think. Then it's correct. Yeah, because all this changes is it uses the V2U16 stuff. Good. Make sure we're not introducing floating points back into the code base. Okay. So let's see what we actually did. I gotta blow my nose again. Owned by sickness. My ear popped. That's good progress. Now I can taste better. Okay. So before we sync this up, we should look for U8 weapon ID in all of these cases. And we got to change it to U16. Okay, that's fixing that. Let's go back to... Well, we'll try building. We might get some compiler errors from assembly commands. Okay. Oh yeah, the faction lore. Somebody would have to collect errata or whatever, I think. You can go to the Chrysilian page and see a brief description of all the tendrils and other factions, but we don't really have a centralized database for all of that information or anything. Close that, we don't need that open. That's hilarious. Tree base. All right, now I can look a little bit at what Jesse sent me. So Jesse sent me dat.py. I did not download that file.
In the sky.
Oh shit.
Cosmonarchy #1 Korean player Gamtu.
Well, thank you very much for the 10,000 won there, buddy. I appreciate that dono very, very much. Now I got to do the exchange rate. Wait, no, I think it'll tell me if I go to my dashboard, actually. That's pretty epic. Can I heart it? I can. Wow, I can heart donations. I had no idea. It does not, in fact, tell me. So it looks like 10,000 is $7. That's pretty good. Appreciate it. I rewind the video and saw you mention the Chrysilian webpage? Yeah. I'll go ahead and paste it in the Twitch chat, because that's what I have open right now. Enjoy. Enjoy, homie. Okay. That's not what I'm actually supposed to be looking at, though, right now. Okay, so I guess fix unit ID crop. And go to it on load. That's really dumb. I don't actually know if we need to do anything there. Okay. So, I believe what we would do here is we would go find the MS Veek So make a new branch called Legacy. And publish it. And then I will go ahead and post that here. So I can actually make the other PR right now. I can just go to Extended, New Branch, and say, create branch based on Extended, and we'll say, I am the voice actor for the Shaman. I voice act a lot of the units. If you want to know a full list, you can go to the main Cosmonarchy section here, and go down to the audio area. And these are the units that are voice acted by people other than myself. If it's not on this list, then it's me. Fix. Feet, weapons, stat, U16. And then basically all I need to do here is go into libs, and then go down here and grab this and paste it into here. And say load extended weapon data. And say just applicable. Shaman status ready. Shaman status operational. Yeah, if it doesn't say Milia for this... Oh, yeah. Striga. I think it's like ounce of Milia or something like that. I guess I should also say, like... just so people know when they look at that. The Siren also already has a... Oh, wait, no, the Siren doesn't. Wait. I can't remember. We did Striga? Isn't the Siren already voiced? I'm confused. I'm getting owned. I guess not. Yeah, Striga is supposed to have a female voice eventually, so you aren't wrong about that. Okay, so we have built on weapons.u16, rebased to master. Okay. Now... yeah, weapon ID's limit was set to 1,000 for the test. So we'll say... what? We have a problem. F reloading weapons, status X, and then loading units status X, we get this error. Doesn't seem to happen if you well, I'm confused now.
Birds in the sky!
Oh shit!
COSMONARCHY lovers with badass gaming crew.
The badass gaming crew, that's what we call you. I'll remember that. Thank you very much. That's like $11. That's good. That's my shit right there. Oh, maybe I have the wrong thing done here. Let's try that, maybe. Could not load TBL, images.tbl. Why? Oh, this is probably one of those stupid things I have to go into the settings. What is going on here with this? Is this a repo? Oops. Oh. Oh, this is the right one then. I shouldn't be doing anything with this. Probably just straight up delete that. 'Cause all it does is confuse me. Dono Wars. We like the Dono Wars, dude. Big ups. Oh yeah, that means I gotta love it, right? I gotta heart react. Oh, yeah. Hey, that means that we can put that money towards the weekend wage stuff, can't we? We can do like 7, and then what's the RW to USD if we do? Yeah, something like that. So we could say like $18. Hey, we're pretty close to our weekend wage goal. That's epic. That means that we only need, what, $7 more, I think? Another 10,000 KRW? Korean won. Operation Eat Yogurt on Stream is a go. It's complete. Appreciate you guys very much. Okay, so we are working on the old version. So that PR just needs some work before it's fully done. I will... well, I haven't made a PR yet, so I don't even need to mark it as draft. But... Can I blow my nose again? Hello, Slavonomo. How are you? You must be the Slav. I think that's your Discord handle, so that checks out. Okay, so I guess I need to take Jesse's Daddy X's. Can you convert my latest ones manually if I send them to you? That way I don't lose work. Slav I am. Hope you've been enjoying Cosmonarchy. I know you've been playing a lot, as I can see by these games versus Cannoli. You even got a game off of him? Dude, you got a couple games off of him? A 24-minute Raid Slave ZVZ, hold on. I gotta see that. That's a cast. For sure a cast. Will we see you in Weekend Wage, Slav? These make Starcraft UMS maps. Completely one-sided matches? Even the really long one? How could you have a one-sided match for 24 minutes? Were you toying with him? Was he toying with you? How'd that work? I'm gonna cast this Gilded while replay if that works. Okay, let's see if we can continue the dev that we were trying to do by sending these files over to Jesse. Hi, good. Oh, Jack. Yeah, so what I'm doing right now, I haven't really been explaining myself too much, but I'm actually right now investigating the extension of the weapon ID entries, because that was only extendable to 255, and we are well run out of entries now. I don't really know if I can give you guys a cursory glance of how many entries we are over and waiting to use. But like, let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We have 21 units that we are still waiting on. We're still waiting on confirming right now. What's up, Trimbecca? Oh, wait, you're already here. I made theater, yeah. Something like that. So we have a lot of overlap the versions, yeah. We do have a lot of those that we have need of moving, of migrating. All right, so let me go ahead and okay, it looks like we do modify unit stat. Okay, so I'm going to say sync latest model progress, which is accurate. And then we're going to go ahead and paste our new files in. Then I'm going to open it up again after switching my branch to this for PyDat. Then we're going to close PyDat. Then we're going to open up this unit stat file. It will work. We're going to open up our weapons stat file. We'll open up a unit stat file again. Okay, it does work. Very nice. Has 1,000 entries. Okay. So first thing we have to test is whether or not we can shoot. If we can shoot with our units, then that's something. If we can get into the game, that's something. Okay, we're in the game, and we appear to be loading the statistics correctly. And then I think it was that I was reported that Mavericks can't attack. Yeah, it looks like everybody wants to attack but can't. What if we're really close to... Okay, so there's definitely something going on, and then I think it was... Okay, so this crashes the game when we cast an ability that uses a weapon. That's what I wanted to see. We can triage that because it might give us a lead. The other stuff is like a silent failure, which isn't very helpful. I don't know why this is returning. Crash on a projectile being created from Fantavis hallucinate. This. Maybe Jesse will have some idea when I send him this. Will they have any mind... Well, the mind control trick that Ascozi have that makes them different is that they can do it without killing the unit. Everything else requires fatal damage to be done, either in the form of, like, corpse reclamation for Terran. Protoss have it for their tyranny. They need to take fatal damage. Embraced, same thing for infestation. So, the quirk that Ascozi have is that they don't need that. It'll proc on that, but they also get it from just... If you wait too long and you don't get the... Oxine off of you or the ink blot off of you. Silent failure is my highest one. Gonna go ahead and pull our changes from Solstice. He's got a... Did I change the Amaranth? I'm not really sure how I can stash... Oh, my index, it contains uncommitted changes. What? Normally it does this automatically for me. I don't know why it's being a pain in the ass. Let's go to... Let's go back to PyMS since we might need to swap back to that. What's the value of weapon ID there? What the fuck is that? Oh, well. I don't think that really matters here, but this should be weapon ID. So I don't... I'm not entirely sure about that one. We're pushing D-word pointer here. We go into our reverse engineering disassembler. So weapon ID is indeed a U8 here. Laser purge. Okay, so it's still the same ID even after we corrected this. That's what I wanted to check. So we originally give it to it here, and then all we do is we check this wrapper. Okay, Windows, thank you. Oh, you know what it might be? The obvious thing to check here, actually, is if I can figure out where this is from. Is unit in attack angle? Target related hook. Is unit in attack angle? No, we do change it here. Yes, weapon extension, Solstice. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for your work recently on the Amaranth. I did get that just now and updated our... I'm kind of bad with that. I did thumbs up you, I guess, but I'm kind of bad at like typing my reaction sometimes when people do the work. I'm just like, yeah, I'll go ahead and just download it right now and process it, and then I'd never tell people that I did that. What's going on? This is operand size conflict. So I guess we have to do this, and then we have to do U16. To my knowledge, the only thing that points to weapons is units and orders. I don't think... Yeah, targeting points to weapon, and units point to weapon. I don't think anything else does. Alright, we'll see if this does anything, that was like my only thinking right now, but yeah, it doesn't appear to. Indeed, it does not. I guess I could try building on debug and see if that changes anything, but probably won't. Go ahead and rebuild it. Yeah, right about now we're gathering games from Replay Kraken. We're trying to get some weapon extension stuff done. If we can do that, we can do a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, it has come time for me to leave so I can go to shift work. So I am going to do one final test here to see what we can do with the debug build. Get any information on this. Once this is completed, it has seen movement, and after 5 months of staleness, thanks to Jesse investigating it, once we see some movement on this and we finish this up, we will be much closer to more functionality being present. I'm really looking forward to handling some of this stuff in more specificity, I would say. We have finished the build. Go ahead and attach the debugger. Spawn Cantavis. Okay. So we actually are crashing out of spell order. All we do is tech ID here. Orders hallucination. Spell order is tech ID. I don't think this is going to crash on debug. There's not really anything else for extender, Jack. There's some TBL files we got to extend for unit graphical definition lookups and portrait definition lookups, but we're a little bit far from those being a requirement right now. We're kind of sitting pretty. I was just thinking about this last night. I think we're sitting pretty on the extension stuff. So, okay, we're going to go ahead and... The game continued? Oh, okay. Ignore? Ignore? You can just ignore it? Okay, that's really funny. That's really funny. Yeah, was there anything else that I wanted to take care of here? I think we'll go ahead and switch back to the extended PyMS Veek. We'll go ahead and finish rebase and go to GPTP and do git push F. Rebase weapons.e16. We'll now go back to fixed power preview and unstash our changes, reload this. All right. And then the other thing that we need to do now is go into CM Dev. Where is that? Discard these, but not before I grab the files and put them here. Besides orders dat and unit stat, do any other dat files point to recommended? Question mark? Alright. What the hell GAM2ing is? Dude, it's GAM2ing. GAM2ing. When you're part of the badass gaming crew. Alright. So I think I'm about ready to go ahead and push some updates over to pre-release, which will include the Oriel changes, and the Zethracore update as well. But I think I'll wait until I get home from that, from work for that, just to make sure that I've crossed all my T's and dotted all my I's. The time snuck up on me tonight. So we'll get some updates for you guys very soon. I do want to say, tonight I will be doing a donor dev stream where I work on another blood summon unit. So look forward to that. Hopefully I can bang that unit out in time. And we got our Alzuracore, I'm not sure how I'm going to pronounce it yet. The Alzuracore, probably, concept done, where it's the yellow Imicrenia Ultracore that has splash damage and applies infestation in an area around its attack. So, very cool stuff. I might do Ensnaring Brood too, might have Captivating Claws, I'm not sure. Ensnare on head or whatever. I might do a combo there. Because it doesn't have Kaiser Rampage, it doesn't have Saber Siphon, so I might give it the little stick abilities, combat support ability. But besides that, I will be back tonight with some Blood Summon Dev for the donors. If you donate $3 a month or more on our coffee page, you can get access to those via Discord or Fluxer, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.